no, by May of 2013. Now, there's two bases, the one in Ginowan and the one in Futenma. The Futenma will transfer to Ginowan, and the Ginowan forces, which they call the First Expeditionary Force, composing of 14,000 men, now will have to be reallocated all over. And part of that is, you were correct, part of that will be allocated to Australia, and some of them will be the what they call the rotational forces in the Philippines.
Tapos meron Singapore, may Malaysia, may Thailand.
In fact, yung roadmap back to Guam was abandoned because Hatoyama, okay, in his intention to extend, which was very unpopular.
Yes, very unpopular for him.
In fact, when he signed it, the next day he resigned.
Yeah, he resigned. Yes, he was very unpopular, yes.
But he was able to withdraw the $5 billion commitment to pay the Americans.
So economic interests.
Economic interest to allow the refurbishing of the bases in Guam. So with this now, the deadline is very short. So China anticipates, the accelerated activity of America in the South China Sea,
which is currently ongoing.
It is what's happening.
It's in progress. Yes.
In fact, if you will look at all the activities of the naval facilities, there are more submarines that are docking in Guam.
We read that in the newspaper.
No, but it's there. It's there.
Even in Subic, we had one of the biggest nuclear subs that just came in.
In fact, the Commander-in-Chief of the Pacific or the Pacific Command is arrived yesterday.
He's here.
He's here now. So with all of this, you cannot blame. No, I said blame the Chinese. No, to be extra protective. In short, yung line of defense, ini-extend niya eh. At tayo naapektuhan. See? Because remember, they have to put up sonar stations because these are naval facilities. These are unseen forces. There are drones up in the air, there are submarines on the ground, and we have nothing of this.
Correct.
Okay, now, so yung Coast Watch na tinayo nila sa Zamboanga, sa Camp Navarro, is basically for this, no? Kaya, and with the third eye that also China has, they see the build-up, no, of these military installations.
So who is the protagonist with the current conflict perceived by the Filipinos? Because we see China with their big boat, army boat, and we see our little
But that is what we were talking about 2 years ago.
Yes, exactly.
The conflict is between two big countries, and we become the battlefield.
Yeah.
We become the victims here, no?
I remember when you told me that, I said, parang, boy, ang wild naman eh. Pero sige, I believe what you say because obviously it always comes with study.
Yes.
But I always thought, gee, that's such a wild statement.
But today,
it's real.
we are in the middle of these big giants, and there are impositions, both politically, diplomatically, economically. Magre-react yung China. Sinabi lang, itigil yung pagbili ng mga saging. Namimilipid ngayon yung mga farmers natin sa Davao, di ba? Imagine, that's just economic sanction.
That's crippling enough.
Though America will try to say diplomatically, but with a big gun behind it.
Yes, yes.
So that's the issue here, no? And our leaders is really having a hard time. Number one, you're correct. We don't have anything to defend our territorial integrity. Wala tayong aeroplano, wala tayong barko, wala tayong submarino, wala tayong radar. Nangihiram pa tayo ng radar. That's why sabi ko, even our international airlines cannot be monitored. We cannot charge the access of this international commercial airlines.
We can't identify.
So we cannot charge them, see? Because we don't have that kind of facility. Okay. So, yun ang sabi ko, we have to consider and be conscious, no, that we cannot allow these two countries to use our nation as a battleground.
Boy, we're going to have to take a short break. Ladies and gentlemen, to help us understand the issues that are brewing, it is not only what media says that it is, and you and I start jumping up and down. Leadership is all about vision. It's all about competence. Yes. The virtue of patience has to be available. There has to be a holistic thought. There has to be a bigger thought towards what the future should bring. There is economic and all the kinds of interests that come in. And then there are certain realities that have to be taken into consideration. Our leaders that are today, as Mr. Saicon has put out, are not necessarily confused, but at least guided, if anything. The problem, we hope, is hot-headedness, impulse decision, interests, specific personal interests. If they come into play and fudge the issues, exactly that, garbage in, garbage out, and the loser will be us. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll discuss the issues of how Malacanang and the stronger personalities, or what we call our leaders that are there, that rule this country or guide this country, if not direct us, hoping that this will be to all our benefit, not just Filipinos, the Americans, and the Chinese. We'll be right back. Hello, my name is Harry Tambuatco. You are tuned to Talk to Harry. With us, we have Pastor Boy Saicon of COPA. That's the Council on Philippine Affairs. The topic is between America and China. I'm Filipino, so I'm putting my hands, my left and my right, and the Philippines. This is exactly where we are. Mr. Saicon, between the leaders that we have today, who have the mandates, meaning they have the power, the authority, between the Senate, Congress, the cabinet of the president, never mind the judiciary at this point, that's another issue, because we have to stay within the confines of the Constitution, di ba? For example, no nuclear armaments can be brought within the Philippine area of jurisdiction, which...
That has been waived.
That's been, I see, I didn't even know that. That's why they are able to land and bring in the nuclear sub. Because I was questioning myself when I read that. That's been waived.
No, I'm not saying officially waived, no? But apparently, our administrative institutions, no, that's supposed to handle this, refuses to impose the rules.
Yes, the rule. Are we in good hands with the current leadership? I'm not saying Pinoy personally. Let's not blame everything on the president. No, but the tendency of Filipinos, even the senators, even the congressmen, is blame the president for everything. Diba? But
unfair. That will be very unfair.
It is. It is. I agree. That's an unfair statement. No, I say that because you're wearing yellow and you have the pin. Okay, but the executive, the administration as a whole, and now we have the Senate and the leaders, supposedly, because may mandato sila from the people, because we are a democracy, di ba? Voted by the majority. Are we competent? Do we have enough vision, patience, the virtues required to handle the situation that is continuously brewing? Alam mo, when you brew and you continue to inject energy in the bottom, it has to blow up. Be it a volcano, a teapot, or boiling water. And blowing up will burn everybody because the water goes up, it all comes down, everything in the bottom will boil as well. Are we in good hands? Are we in capable hands? Ikaw, base niyo po.
Okay, let's do this and dissect it carefully. No?
All right.
First, no, whether it's the defense ministry or department or the foreign affairs department, no? These two are the main agencies that are on top of this issue. There is, I think, an effort that they should make to look at the historical beginnings. Because all of this started actually in 2001. And I presented it to you in your show.
Yes.
It all started with the peace agreement being rammed and almost signed in 2006. Wherein we are granting sovereignty, semi-sovereignty to Muslim Mindanao. Where in that process, we knew that the Americans will utilize this and negotiate directly with them and not with the Philippine government.
I agree. You brought that up, and yes, that was the topic, and that was the
Yes.
that was
Now,
yes, that was our finding.
When we look at the documentary, the exchanges of notes
To elude the Constitution lang yun eh. Kasi hindi magalaw yung Constitution at the
correct,
time.
because
Go ahead,
we
yes.
could not amend it. So the same thing is happening today. There is seemingly intent to rush the peace agreement with the MILF.
Correct. With Malaysia this time brokering.
But Malaysia, I believe, as a country whose interest in North Borneo is still there against the Sultanate of Sulu, must disengage from this
Yes.
and allow an independent third party, if there is a third party. But no, they were nominated. In fact, the international...
Pero biased yun. Pag ang Malaysia, alam ko, that's supposed to be ours, Sabah. And doon nadiderive yung oil eh.
Correct. And not only that, historically, they still have to prove it does not belong to the Sultanate of Sulu. Because until today, they pay. Checks are delivered annually to the Sultanate of Sulu, to Sultan Jamalul Kiram. And we have records of this. So, but put that aside, what
The
is
amounts
the...
are
what
small though, but go ahead.
But the relevance of these events towards strengthening with finality the position of America in the Philippines. Now, America cannot change our constitution. That's why
They're going in this path.
They're going into what they call collocation, rotational forces,
Floating bases.
So they want a more permanent, and they think that they can do this. If a certain sovereignty can be given equal to the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao. In fact, they want to amend that into a more larger area of independence.
That has nothing to do with the current state of the Bangsamoro, who just declared the other day that they're totally independent. There's no relationship there, is there? May relationship ba yan?
No. There is a relationship because the original creation of the MNLF, which was created, the original group created in Malaysia, in the island of Pangkor, was the product of the Jabida massacre.
Okay, that's way back to the father of Noy Noy.
Okay. Who exposed it in Congress, that it became an international issue, and therefore...
claim to fame ni Noy Noy, Ninoy.
No, so, Malaysia immediately took advantage of that and got the family members of the massacred victims to Malaysia. And then, hence, the birth of the MNLF. And they were trained in Pangkor Island. Now, since they were the ones given that sovereignty, because Ramos wanted peace. Ramos understood the historical beginnings. So he said, okay, we will find you. Not independence, but autonomy. Self-determination, you can exercise your laws of the land. The Sharia laws, court can be established.
Nakahanap siya ng option.
So, tinanggap naman po. Kaya tinanggap yan, kaya lang, nag-umpisa sa 13 provinces, nauwi sa 8, naging 4 na lang po. 4 na lang. Now, so, with this now, nakita ng Malaysia na nako-op na yung MNLF, the MILF was born. Kaya humiwalay po.
To continue the fight.
Because the fight really is the Sultanate has to be weakened so it cannot claim back.
Yes, claim back Malaysia.
North Borneo.
Borneo.
So, that's the issue now. But the Americans and the British are in this together. Why the transfer happened. So now that they saw the value of Mindanao facing the South China Sea, they saw that, yes, America has long-standing commitment to the independent Moroland, and they cited in their letter the Kiram-Bates Treaty.
Okay.
Now, the Kiram-Bates Treaty, when you say Kiram, then they refer to the Sultanate of Sulu. So, okay, now, with this now, we believe no, that indeed, yes, they must recognize no, the historical past. But they must not utilize it no, to create a provocative situation in our country. Because we are a peaceful country. We have a very honest president. He does not want to have any trouble with anyone except, internally to make the country
Work.
Govern and work as an honest, acceptable again.
But how do we control the forcing interests of many who have specific interests there, who are muscling their way in? Which is why we have media displaying this problem.
Ganito, no? If you will look at the roles of the different media, they're principals of interest. Okay?
You said that, not
yes,
me.
Yes. Now, but we must also understand that the world's resources for natural resources, oil, and is depleting.
Yes.
And all the big boys in the block is jockeying for the last resources reserved. And most of these resources are now found in the Philippines and in the South China Sea and in the Sulu Seas. So now you will understand why exploration are being done by all multinational companies, from the Australian to the British, French, Japanese, China, is now exploring. Seismic tests are being done because they know it's there. So the Philippines knowing it, and our leaders, as you referred to, because very hard for me to swallow, because we have politicians but very few leaders. Very few leaders who has the vision and the ability to at least